Wondra sits in a jail cell. He is back in Idaho, accused of killing young Michael Vaughan.
You're pure evil. You have no heart. You have no soul.
Wondra is accused of murdering her then 5-year-old son in 2021. Would you think you'll ever get the answer as to why?
No, because there is no answer to why. Why would somebody hurt an innocent little boy? What answer could you give? What answer could you possibly give? How scared was he? Did he ask for me? Did he ask for Tyler?
Stacey Wondra has been charged with first-degree murder and second-degree kidnapping and destruction of evidence.
Michael "Monkey" Vaughan went missing from his Fruitland neighborhood on July 27, 2021.
This is a criminal investigation.
Now, more than 4 years later, in newly unsealed court documents, Fruitland police named 4 people they believed are involved in Michael's murder. Those 4 names are ones we've heard before.
This is Sarah Wondra. This is Sarah's husband, Stacey Wondra. This is Brandon Shirtliff, Adrian Lucien.
As for what these 4 people have in common, they were all staying at the Wondras' home when Michael disappeared in 2021. That's just half a mile from Michael's home where he was last seen. In the PCA, police pointed to video evidence they say showing Shirtliff walking around the neighborhood. They say Shirtliff helped move Michael's body in a duffel bag temporarily to his mom's home in Kuna before standing guard as they buried him in the Wondras' Fruitland backyard. Stacey Wondra told police the 4 hoped to sell Michael for $10,000 each. He says the idea came from Adrian Lucien. Idaho News 6 is now learning Lucien was arrested and released in Indiana in October for a traffic-related misdemeanor. Sarah Wondra is currently serving time in the Idaho State Prison System for unrelated charges. She's eligible for parole in early 2026.
Karen, is there any connection between the Vaughan family and the home where police had been searching?
No, we've heard this more than once from the family representatives and from the police department that there is no connection between the Vaughan family and the home where this search took place.
As you know, from the time Michael went missing, this has been an all-hands-on-deck investigation, and it remains very active and an ongoing investigation. You can't take one of our most precious citizens from us and ever expect us to stop. During the course of this investigation to date, we received credible information that the remains of Michael Vaughan could be found in the backyard at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland. As a result, the Fruitland Police Department obtained a search warrant for the residence along with the front and backyards. That search warrant was served on November 11th. It was a Friday. We served that late in the evening. Upon entry, officers encountered Sarah Wondra, one of the known occupants of the home, and Sarah was subsequently arrested based on probable cause that she had knowledge of Michael's death and failed to report that death to law enforcement. The following day, the Fruitland Police Department, joined by the Idaho State Police, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, the Fruitland Fire Department, and the Fruitland Public Works Department, began a very methodical excavation of the backyard of the Wondras' home. During that excavation process, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, Mountain States detection dogs deployed multiple certified human remains detection dogs on the property, all of them alerting to the presence of human remains. Ground penetrating radar was also used and deployed, detecting anomalies in the backyard. We completed the excavation of the entire backyard and removed over 250 yards of dirt. Prior to backfilling the yard, the dirt was meticulously sifted for any potential human remains. We did not find Michael's remains. Although the remains of Michael Vaughan were not recovered, we strongly believe, based on evidence, that Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that his remains were buried and later moved from the property. As of today, the whereabouts of his remains are unknown. However, the investigation is active, fluid, and ongoing. Once the excavation was complete, we conducted a thorough search of the Wondras' residence. The search was productive, and additional investigative evidence was recovered and is currently being processed.
An hour's worth of body camera footage showing Stacey Wondra FaceTiming with detectives and directing to where Monkey's body was buried in his backyard.
It's like right under that mound area.
It's right under the mound, about where at compared to the
trees?
A little like right to the right of the trees area. It should be, it should be a garbage bag.
Okay, what color is the garbage bag?
It would either be white or black. We only had two colors.
Is the duct tape still going to be over his mouth?
It should be.
Okay.
I didn't watch to take them off.
Okay.
So you should have everything intact as it was.
He claims he watched the burial happen.
Okay. How far down is Michael?
I don't know how far she actually dug.
And the she he's referring to, that's his wife Sarah, another suspect in the case. Stacey says Adrian, a third suspect, was also there for the burial.
Out of 300 homes, police say canines tracked Michael's scent to the home where Stacey, his wife Sarah, and their two roommates Brandon Shirtliff and Adrian Lucian lived.
As Joe mentioned, a newly released probable cause affidavit filed in June lays out the interviews following Michael's disappearance. Again, during these initial searches, police say canines tracked Michael's scent to the fence line of the home where Stacey Wondra, his wife Sarah, and their two roommates, Brandon Shirtliff and Adrian Lucian, lived. All four of those individuals have been named people of interest in Michael's disappearance. One of Michael's neighbors told police they saw Michael riding a bike outside of the Wondra's home the day that he disappeared. Another neighbor said they saw that same tricycle at the Wondra's home during a garage sale months before Michael disappeared. The Wondras initially denied any involvement, but then in November of 2022, Stacey asked to meet with investigators. The PCA states Stacey claims he was home the night Michael was allegedly abducted and saw Sarah carrying Michael into the house. Stacey allegedly told police it was Adrian's idea to take a child to sell for money, and they would get a $10,000 cut. Stacey claims Sarah told everyone to, quote, follow her lead. Stacey told investigators they took him to Brandon's mother's home in Kuna that night, where they left Michael overnight. Stacey claims the other three returned to Brandon's mom's house the next day and brought Michael back to the Wandra's home in Fruitland. Stacey told police Michael was not alive, and Sarah and Adrian buried him in the Wandra's backyard. 2 days after Stacey's interview with police, they executed a search warrant and excavated the Wandra's backyard. The affidavit says cadaver dogs alerted to the same area where Stacey told detectives Michael's body was buried, but to this day, Michael has not been found.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Today is April 7th, 2026. Welcome to Missing PNW Crimes Revisited. My name is Samantha, and it's great to have everybody here. I see Kimberly and Shannon, my beautiful moderator, Darzilla. I see Jen and Amy. Baby kisses. Thank you so much for coming. Callie is here. Thank you, honey, for coming in. Another beautiful mod. January is here. Thank you. Tara is here, or Tara. Not sure how you pronounce that. Toaster is here. Opal is here. She says, if nobody has told you today, you matter. Thank you, Opal, so much for your kind words. Rubber Dub is in the house. Hippie, G-Ma Bargains. Nina is here. Baby kisses. Rubber Dub. Ray Ray. Hello, Ray Ray. Good to see you here, love. So many people coming in. Thank you for being here. For the Vaughan family and for Michael. We are Monkey's Army, and we are not going anywhere. We are here till all 4 suspects are behind bars. Good to see you, Yankee Kyle. Patty Ponytail is here. Thank you for coming in. Connie is here. Hello. Karen is here. She's first. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Get this out into the algorithm as we're bringing awareness for Michael Joseph Vaughan. Brandy is in the house. She says, hey, everyone, just dropping by to say hi. I love hanging out with the kids, having a late dinner. Thank you, everyone, for your continued support from Michael. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad you're having a good night with the kids. Purple is here. Thank you, hon, for coming in. It's always good to see you. Junebug. All right. Thank you guys all so much for coming over. I just got done with a Chiron Live, and I'm super pumped up about it, so I'm pumped tonight. Beverly, lawyer, thank you so much for coming in. Michael's Army is strong. Hair Curlers and Crime is here. Good to see you, love. We all know why we're here. Michael Joseph Vaughan was abducted on July 27th, 2021. There are 4 named suspects named by law enforcement: Stacey Wondra, Sarah Wondra, Adrian Lucien, and Brandon Shirtliff. Stacey Wondra is facing charges of first-degree murder, second-degree kidnapping, and destruction of evidence, along with, what is his 4th charge? Something to have to do with, yeah, I forgot. Multiple other felonies and habitual, what is it? I can't even think of the word right now. Sarah Wondra will be released, but not as a free woman, in October of 2026. That is not far away, you guys. Not far at all. She will also be charged. Her paperwork's already been drawn up for first-degree murder, second-degree kidnapping, and destruction of evidence. Adrian Lucien and Brandon Shirtliff are next. We know that they both are walking the street now, but that is not going to last long. Building cases can take a little while, and I believe that they are working on building their cases right now as we speak. Brandon Shirtliff and Adrian Lucien talk about being set up. They also speak of having knowledge of Michael Vaughan's abduction and murder, and you can't have knowledge of any of that unless you were involved. Whether set up or not, they are involved and they are named suspects. We are here fighting for justice for Michael Joseph Vaughan, and supporting the Vaughan family as moving forward is going to be difficult. We're going to have a trial for Stacey. We'll be going to court for all 3 of the other suspects, which is all going to be difficult. We already know the preliminary hearing was difficult for the Vaughan family, hearing new information about Michael Vaughan, how he was treated by the 4 suspects, and we're not happy about any of it. And tonight we'll be going over more of Stacey Wondra's confessions from his preliminary hearing. This is part 6. I almost deleted part 5. I will be honest with you guys, because the sound was bad. I got frustrated, stopped paying attention, and I did not go in order with Stacey Wondra's confession. I skipped over one, so we're going backwards a little bit and going back to where I should have started last week. And somebody out there knows something. They have a tip. We need that tip to come in, even though there are charges against 2 of these suspects. If you have any information, please call 208-642-6006 or email findmichael@fruitland.org. No tip is too big or too small. Let law enforcement decide whether or not your tip is credible. You can remain anonymous. If your tip brings Michael Vaughan home, you can collect a reward for over $50,000. You may have heard something that you think is just rumor, but it may actually not be a rumor, and it might be a missing puzzle piece. So please be Monkey's hero and call in that tip, 208-642-6006, or email findmichael@fruitland.org. Michael Vaughan wandered away from his home while his dad was taking care of his baby Sissy, changing a diaper, calling Pete for pizza that night. BRANDI Vaughan was not at home. And during that short moment, Michael wanted to go find some friends to play with, and there were monsters in the neighborhood that were looking for a child to kidnap. And Michael Vaughan was outside by himself, unfortunately. Just a curious little boy wanting to find friends to play with. Again, if you have a tip, 208-642-6006, or email findmichael@fruitland.org. Share his beautiful face, his story, talk about the 4 suspects, whatever you can do to help bring awareness for Michael Joseph Vaughan. And if you're in here and you believe the Vaughan family is guilty of anything, then you might as well leave now. Because I'm not having any of that. I'm just not having any of it. These parents and the Vaughan family have suffered enough, and I refuse to let them suffer anymore seeing anything like that in my chat. So keep those kinds of opinions to yourself. Join the live, join the replay. I just don't want to see it. You'll probably get timed out. Just an FYI for anybody that thinks they can come into Missing PNW and bash parents of a missing child. It's just not going to happen tonight. So we are going to be going over the confessions of Stacey's preliminary hearing. I do want to address one thing real quick. I'm going to share my screen, and up at the top of chat, I have pinned this to, hold on. I have pinned this to the top. Yesterday, I spent all day on this. So all of the testimony without anybody's commentary is the Vaughns, BRANDI and Tyler, going over their testimony. We also have Dustin Witt's testimony. We have Julie and the other cadaver dog handler's testimony. We have the deputy that found the Thanksgiving letter written to the Vaughns by Stacey Wondra. We have Carson Starkey. We have Captain Horst. And we also have James Smith, which was in the neighborhood so this is just a big playlist made up from all of the videos that I have received, and we will get Stacey's in there. The problem I am having is Stacey's confessions are very large files. They're a lot bigger. They're not wanting to download right. We'll still go over them, and when I get a chance, we will be adding those to that playlist. So anytime you want to watch anything, you can just go over there and watch that playlist. The other thing I need to address is I have a video. It's 2 hours and 47 minutes. It's not wanting to download into YouTube so that I can even share my screen. It says now that it is still trying to process, and it's been doing that for almost 12 hours today. I'm hoping I can find a different way of maybe cutting this in half, but even the other tool that I used to download that video is not wanting to download that video, and that's 2 hours and 50 minutes worth of Stacey Wondra's confession. So we still have a lot to go over before we get to that point, but I am having a problem because I am a computer dinosaur, but after we get through some of these, if I hit a standstill, that is the reason why. I've got to figure out how to get that huge 118 gigabyte file downloaded either to my computer, onto YouTube or something. And since StreamYard and YouTube are both being brats today and yesterday, I'm wondering if that's the reason. I might have to delete it, try loading it up again. I don't know. Miss Mama's in the house. Oh, thank you guys all so much for coming in. I'm really sorry about the last live. I'm sorry about my frustration. Bringing this preliminary hearing to Monkey's Army meant a lot to me, and to have technical difficulties the way we've been having them has just really upset me, and I shouldn't have allowed it to upset me so much. But what can I do? There's nothing I can do. Stacey Wondra, we couldn't hear him in the court, so we're going to be sharing it again, and hopefully everybody will be able to listen and hear it. I keep hearing from everybody not to worry about it. People are hearing it. I am going to be using the closed captions again. And if I have to, I know there's a way to share my screen and go straight from my files, and we might be able to listen to it that way, but there won't be video of actually seeing Stacey Wondra. But how many of us really care about seeing him, right? Like, I don't. Yeah, we are human, Purple. And I am not savvy like that. I will figure it out, though. I am bound and determined to figure it out. I have no doubt in my mind that I will in some way, shape, or form, even if I have to, screen record it every 10 minutes. I swear to God, I'm getting it. Thank you, Connie, so much for being a member for 10 months. That's huge. Let's just do a little dance real quick. I do appreciate that so much. Thank you all for being here. Yeah, I do too. I like the body language part of it all too. I really do, because it actually does tell a lot. It really does. Body language is important, but I mean, if that's what we got to do, that's what we're going to have to do. Y'all are flying by tonight in chat. It's really difficult for me to share my screen because I'm not one of those creators that has two great big screens. I only have one. I watch chat from my phone. So as we push forward through this next video, it is really long. And since I have been stopping to do commentary, may or may not get through all of it tonight. But again, I apologize for skipping an entire video. Ugh. I was so upset with myself. But I love everybody's opinion, and I love that it seems to be working out for everybody. And when I do get the chance to be able to load it up into that playlist, the best part about that is we don't have any technical difficulties. It's the sharing the screen. I was looking this all up, and when I share my screen to play something from my own videos, there can be sound issues. There can be some issues. So when I go back and I listen to these, I'm like, oh my gosh, this sounds great. I put the closed caption on, it still sounds great. But then when I go live and share, it doesn't sound great. So that's what's going to be amazing about getting them all uploaded and put into the playlist. The other amazing part is that playlist is going to be available for other creators out there so that they can go over that preliminary hearing too. Rogue, thank you so much for being a member for 2 months. I really do appreciate you. Let's dance. And it is so very important to get the awareness out, and I don't ever mind if any creator uses anything that I do to use in one of their lives. We are in this together. That's why we are Monkey's Army, and that's one of the reasons why I'm putting out the playlist the way that I am, without commentary, so that other people can use it, add their own commentary, which I also really like, because there are some people that might use this. I love Michelle After Dark. I love Josh from the lab, and I love hearing commentary from other creators, because they might see something that I don't see, and I do miss things. So I'm actually really looking forward to some other creators using it and going over it. I love to share anything and everything. If you guys missed it and you're interested, I did do a Chiron live at 4 o'clock. It was a couple hours long, putting out some new information in the Chiron Horman story. If you guys want to go back and watch it on the replay, I know some of you that are here now watched the live, and I really appreciate you joining us again for Michael Vaughan. So let's get started. Mads Fab is in the house. Justice for Michael Joseph Vaughan by Rogue. Thank you, Rogue, for being here. I see you, McSporin. Outdoorsy Life. Got a lot of people coming in. Okay, let's share screen and get going on this. By the way, I'm just going to let everybody know now that in this video, if you have a bad stomach, trigger warning for any and all things that ever come out of Stacey Wondra's mouth, things that he may say happened to Michael, but he pukes. And I'm not talking a little bit. I'm talking about he fills up a cup, then he fills up something that looks like a small bucket or a small garbage can. It's disgusting. You see him. It's bad. So prepare yourself. And if you have to leave, I completely understand. It gags me every time I watch it. Yeah, it is really, really gross. And I also heard somebody ask me in comments something about, is there missing pieces to this confession from like the 5th? If there are any missing confessions, say from the 5th of November of 2022, because he did call law enforcement on the 5th and the 10th of November 2022. This is from November 10th, I believe, through November 11th. And if they didn't show it in court, then I don't have it, which they could be saving it for trial. So this may not be all of the footage. And I also know that the footage that was put out and leaked last year, that there's like 2 or 3 pieces of video footage from that also not been released yet either, which I'm sure, you know, they're not going to throw everything all out at once. They're only going to use, I'm speaking the district attorney, law enforcement, only going to use the things they need to do to get to where they need to go. And that was using enough probable cause to get Stacey Wondra to trial, and that's what they did. Are there missing footage? I don't know. I'm not privileged to any of that information, but I'm sure if we haven't seen it, it will be used in court. Okay, so we're here, and let's just move forward. This is still only the 2nd day of the preliminary hearing, so this is March 4th of 2026, last month at Stacey Wondra's preliminary hearing.
Go ahead and be seated. Back on the record, taking up the matter of State of Idaho v. Stacey Wondra in case CR 38251295. The party's ready to resume.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead.
And where we left off was just for court's benefit or for the record, the video that ends with 10, and we've just turned up the volume a little bit. So hopefully it's better.
The whole time all this stuff happened, I was sick. I didn't get specifics on why they did it, or how they did it. I just know that something was off and how they were acting. The conversation, you know.
And just to let you guys know, he's talking softly, so you might need to put earbuds in. You can also read the caption. I have said that through the other lives, but in case you're new coming in, or in case you haven't been here during any of this, the confession footage volume is not very high. There's nothing I can do on my end, so you have to turn it up, and then I might scare the hell out of you when I start talking or I pause. Sorry about that.
Well, when you get the story straight, you brought that up a question. Even though I had nothing to do with it, I was scared. I wanted at that time, I guess I was in it for myself. I really want to see, you know, Sarah or Adrian. And was scared this whole time with kids or something. And that's understandable. I'm afraid of is that I said something to you guys, like, you guys are going.
I'm here asking for your help. And if you help me, I help you. That's what it is, okay? I'm here asking for help.
I got the prosecuting attorney's phone number written down. Yeah. All right. I spoke to him before he came in. He's willing to help. We gotta have.
He would have to talk to the federal.
Is it federal with Sarah too?
It'd be the same thing.
You're gonna feel $1,000.
I've been holding this for a long time. And this has been weighing on me. And I know it almost killed you then, and you made it through somehow. But it never left you, did it?
It never will.
Just what I think. Try to be hanged up over fucking firearm, man. Make it stupid.
You're right.
Thank you.
So how will I make it better?
It's going to get better. How do I guarantee? Like, how do I mean, I'm not saying I don't believe you guys, but it's like, I mean, how am I?
So the measurement for your decision. Okay.
He is just talking about wanting his freedom. He wants his freedom. What about Michael's freedom to live the rest of his life instead of being abducted and murdered by these 4 suspects? And you hear in his voice, to me it sounds like he's trying really hard to sound all concerned and pathetic and whatever, playing victim, victim, victim. It's just sickening. I don't think I heard him say he talked to anybody.
tell us something you think we want to hear. Because that was just the only gift you can give back is the truth. I mentioned that the last time we were here for this mother. Where can we find him? We know that he was abducted. You know who abducted him. I don't know as far as where to put him. I don't know that. I believe it. I believe it. But I can't tell you is that, you know, he was abducted. Sarah and Adrian plotted it. Not for the sake of trying to conceive a child and think on the class should be out there. And this one purpose, they should have tried to. It sickens me. You bring him back to the house. And did you see him? I didn't see him. How did you know he was there if he wasn't there? That's the point. Help me understand. It wasn't a bicycle went out there. I from some baskets and talking boxes. That tricycle, the one that showed you. That was the one in the garage.
You saw it sitting on the boxes? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yeah. And when they came back in to the house, did you hear it? No. How did you know? I just know that the tricycle was out of place there. I never physically saw him, but I heard them talking about what we should do with him. And Sarah at one point asked me what they thought I should do, and I said, I don't know. I said, I don't know why you would even do this. She put you at that spot, absolutely. And so, what did you tell her? I suggested that we should call the authorities, but I was more scared because of what she would do physically. To you? So how did they do it? You said they fought. What did they do? I'm pretty sure they used the duffel bag as a way to transport my home. Put his clothes, put Brandon's clothes on the bottom and put him in the middle of it. Put the clothing on top, so it doesn't look like it was heavy set on the bottom.
Did you say that?
Okay, you said you're pretty sure. I'll just, I'm sure. I mean, it just seeing a tricycle in the garage, which we've never had before. So I mean, that's the number one. I mean, why would there be little kids tricycles sitting on top of boxes? What was there for? There wouldn't be, unless there was something on it. And secondly, just the conversation of what they should do and how, you know, what they were going to do, and I don't know what they were going to do. They were going to go transport them somewhere and then drop them off. I don't know. I didn't go into that. Wouldn't you think?
Stacey's saying that they were going to transport him somewhere and then drop him off. And many have speculated whether or not they pulled over on that 8th and Arizona area to maybe let Michael free. Or just still so unsure of so many things.
Probably the truth. So, who is making those decisions? Sarah, Adrian, and Sarah. Where's Brandon? Brandon was playing neither. He was just as open about. Brandon didn't have. I mean, the only part he played that was all about that thing. Because he was worried too. He was sick. Just like I was. Do you think he was alive when they put him in the duffel bag? I think he was duct taped. And is that the duct tape we'll find him there? I think so. I don't know.
I want to see something here and rewind just a little bit.
Brendan didn't have, I mean, the only part he played it was old couple that thing. Because he was worried too, he was sick, just like I was. Do you think he was alive?
He said Brandon was sick just like he was. And then Chris McDonough's like, was he alive?
And then put him in the couple bed. I think he was duct taped. Is that the duct tape we'll find in there? I think so. I don't know from that, they said they were gonna go take care of stuff. And that's, what is your assumption that they were gonna sell it? You don't think they wanted to kill him? So is it possible it could still be alive? It's possible. That's a good sign, right? Can I ask you a question? How are you, please? Absolutely. You want water? Yeah, true. Thank you. Okay.
Did they try to make you get involved in their plans as far as like finding that kid?
Did they what?
Did they get you involved in their plan, trying to make you help them find a kid?
I get off. So it's open there, too. Just repeat.
Did they make you help them by find a kid?
No.
They didn't help make you go look for a kid?
No. Like I said, this all went on, and I didn't know anything of it until Victor being mentioned about this little boy going missing and trying to decipher what did you do with it. And then when I said you need to do is you need to report it. So you need to give that little boy that. And they wouldn't listen.
Where was this conversation? And where was it?
But I was there after we had gone to, or right before we gone to, and I'm pretty sure he was transported in the truck. I had nothing, didn't know about. 90% positive that we were in the.
I need you to be 100% straight with me. What did you guys do when you pulled over off the gate?
Off the what?
Off the gate, when you pulled out of the subdivision, be 100% straight with me, what happened?
We were pulled over and I think they were making sure that he was still alive or something. Like I said, I honestly was putting car here for them, but I think Brandon had gone out or Sarah had gone out, and they were making sure that he was still alive.
So he's saying they pulled over to 8th in Arizona basically to check to see if Michael was still alive. He then tries to get out of the responsibility about him being there, saying that either Sarah or Brandon got out of the truck to check to see if Michael was alive, and that's why that they have pulled over.
And what did they say?
They made a comment, well, at least he's still alive.
Okay. Was he hurt?
I didn't get any details like that. I wouldn't know how to duct tape a little boy. It's not going to go where it is. Heard some noise, but it wasn't for sure what it was exactly. But it sounded like a light, what do you call it? Like a light scream, kind of like, like how a little kid plays, like you 5-year-old plays with your 6-year-old, scream with each other and play. That's what it's all about. But when you thought after talking about when you guys were talking.
I think they're asking him whether or not Michael was alive when they pulled over at 8th in Arizona, because Stacey Wondra's telling inmates in all the prisons that he was in that they gave Michael insulin. And if they gave him too much insulin, that would put Michael in a coma that could kill him. So I think that's why they're asking him if Michael was still alive when they pull over there at 8th in Arizona. But he's saying that he still heard Michael.
I think he, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing he was already duct taped and set the case, the duffel bag. And we're in the corner, and it looked like it was, from where it was still sitting. But I think they put it there because, I don't think they wanted me to really know that that's what they had done. So my assumption would be that's what they were doing, was they made it look like it was just buried in the river. I had no idea that at the time that's what they were thinking. Or putting him in the duffel bag and not taking him or something like that. That's.
So without us having to keep prodding, what all took place?
I just knew that we made that one stop, and then we stopped at the gas station. I believe we were going and we got gas, we got some drinks, and then we headed out on the interstate. We took I-84 and believe all the way to 44.6. And we branched off and got to Brandon's house. And I remember Brandon got out and both of his duffel bags, or both of his backpack and his duffel bag, and went to the side of the house. And he came around and he opened the garage, I think on the right side. There's like two garage door. And he opened one on the right side so that his mom would see him on the camera.
What's really strange to me is that he talks about Brandon being so upset just like him, but he's also now saying that when they get to Cuna, Brandon gets out of the truck with a backpack and the duffel bag. So he's the one doing all of this at this point and opening up the garage. He's the one disposing pretty much of Michael at this point, which is just strange because in his entire confession, he really isn't putting Brandon under fire at all. And I'm really starting to wonder if it's because he's worried if he puts too much on Brandon, that Brandon's going to flip and tell what he knows about Stacey. Because the only thing Stacey wants to do is protect himself. And if he's afraid he's going to piss Brandon off because Brandon's got something on him, he may not want to put Brandon under the bus. But here's Brandon going into his mom's house with a backpack and the duffel bag.
But when he came back, the duffel bag definitely looked a lot more less bulky.
Brandon's not smart enough, and I don't think Brandon would plan on what happened to Michael. So I know that Sarah would have probably spoke with him. So what did Sarah say?
Sarah asked him to follow, or basically asked if Brandon would follow her lead in this, which was or take the kid, and which I don't even know what that is. I just know that he got transferred to Cuna and doubled that. But as far as when he came out and there was nothing left in the clothing, because when he got back home, he took clothing out of the double bag.
Mm-hmm. And what happened the next day?
And now he's saying that Brandon came back to the truck with the duffel bag, and he knows that because when they get back home, Brandon takes the clothes out of the duffel bag. So here's more stories coming from Stacey.
That's when I talked to my mom, and I was just I was really distraught, upset. And I wasn't upset with my mom because it's like, I mean, it's not like I wanted to lie to her. I just, again, I was trying to cover, trying to be that husband. It wasn't doing her work. I was exasperated. It was completely beside myself.
So walk me through that day though. I can understand those feelings and that phone call, but what happened that day? You just had a life-changing event happen, so you can't say that you don't remember it.
I'm pretty sure I tried to, don't quote me on this, but I think I had gone and I told Sarah that I needed to go to Nampa to go hang out with my buddy Ian, who's a tattoo artist in Bill. Ian was somebody who's been really good with him, and he's always treated me fair and always treated me like a human being. He's always promised me, once you get below 400 pounds, you're going to go to the crop shop today. I'm not so sure I want to go to the crop shop. But I think honestly, I went and spent part of the day with Ian. And I think that's when I got the portrait we're drawing on that from my grandfather. And that took probably 5 or 6 hours. And we came back home and I was trying to offset my mind. So I think I went to bed. I think I went to sleep or something for a while. Just trying to offset all my emotions and everything that just happened.
It was supposed to be Sarah.
Oh. You're jacket, right? No. I think 2 or 3 times. But I didn't.
So he's saying the day after Michael was abducted, the next day, him and his tattoo artist get together. He spends about 6 hours with the tattoo artist to do, I don't know, a memorial piece or something from his grandfather, or for his grandfather. And then, taking himself completely away from the scene once again. But what I found really interesting is he says Ian, not only a tattoo artist, but a drug dealer also, by the way, he is saying always treated him like a human and was always really nice to him. So that's interesting to hear.
Internally, I'm so mad. I knew she was capable of freaking shit, but this, like, they say you have preferences or whatever. That's
Can I back you up? So when you're having, okay, and you find out they have money, tell me exactly what was going on. What was the exact? I understand your feelings, okay? I get that. But what's Lucini saying? What's Sarah saying? What's Brandon saying?
Brandon wasn't really speaking a whole lot because I think he was just as appalled as I was. He was more like, Brandon's the type of person that will go along with anything because he's just that stupid.
Sarah was just.
He's just saying that Brandon was there, wasn't really a part of everything, and that Brandon just went along with everything because he's that stupid. So Brandon, if you're listening, Stacey Wondra's just saying you're stupid.
Was trying to figure out how to, everything that just had happened, what's going to be the outcome of this, what's going to happen. And at that time, this is not something I listened to. Instead of listening to him, he just took a little point for him. And,
I appreciate you saying that. Tell me, how do you think?
they stopped him to help.
No, I mean from the street. How they went in.
I think they picked him up when he was out and about, and I think they picked him up off of the street. Because remember, the whole thing was his dad was after changing his sister's diaper or whatever, and he'd gone out of the house by himself. And I think that's when Sarah picked him up. Sarah Wondra. I think it was at the time that they brought my way back from
Carl.
their parole.
What happened with the tricycle?
Then I don't even know. One minute I know it was there, and then next one I know it was gone. I don't know what happened to the tricycle.
Whose DNA is going to be on the tricycle?
Probably Sarah's. Right, but well, no, because Sarah's not a very quick person, so I put Adrian on it.
So, to corroborate your story, and in order for me to tell my prosecutor that you are being honest, I have to be able to prove what you're saying. And right now, you're not giving me a lot. So you're gonna have to work with me on figuring out what's some of the things that happened that I can corroborate and say he is being truthful and he wants to help us. What's some of the things that we don't know, or only you guys would know?
The abducted, but
Okay.
I know that the tricycle, I was appalled when it was at the house, and I asked him. And that's when I heard Sarah talking about what we should do about the disappearance of Michael. And I specifically asked her, what do you mean? Well, we went and abducted Michael, and now we need to figure out what to do about it.
What do you say about the hell?
That's what I said. And they responded by, well, what was it they said? Because they wanted to make money. They wanted to sell him so that they could make money off of the trade.
To me, it sounds like he's trying to come up with a story there after being told by Juanita Kelleher, like, we need more from you. We need to be able to prove something that you're saying is legit. You need to give us something that we don't know. And then he just starts talking with a bunch of stuttering, which is what Stacey Wondra does when he's lying, and says that they wanted to sell him. And I'm not saying that wasn't the plan, but why is he stuttering? What is he lying about in this whole little area of, what's happening? And then he starts to say, but then has to change it to Sarah. And then he says, what did they say? Oh, what was it that they said? So he's buying himself time to create a story here.
I still don't hear information that would help me corroborate with what you're saying, though. I need your help with that.
Okay.
And so, what's something that I would be able to prove or disprove?
Go with the proof that the forensic evidence would have Adrian's or Sarah's print fingerprints on the bike. And I know that the duct tape that was in the back of the truck was used in the collaboration of Michael. I think there's a good chance that Sarah would or not Sarah, BRANDI would have assisted. Because I didn't sit there and watch them wrap him up. I know that he was, I know that I did, yes.
So where were you when they were wrapping him up?
I don't think I was in the area that.
Could you get a duct tape on roll?
Yeah. But I think I was in the bedroom, but I did hear the duct tape in the bedroom.
Could you hear him crying? Looking for his mom, begging? You could. While they were tying him up with the
Duct tape.
could you hear him say?
He was in tears and was, oh, my mom, mom. So I could hear call this little voice saying, mom, and just speak in tears.
What did this look like happen?
I think he had a little, or one of those little boys. I don't know what it was, but he had something on it.
What did it look like?
It's just some sort of stuff animal. It was the dinosaurs, or like a monkey or probably, I don't know. It wasn't like a guinea pig size, I would say. It was more so.
Now, is that something Sarah or Adrian would dedicate or something?
There was a green monkey that Sarah and I had bought a long while ago for one of our dogs. And I think that was the monkey that he had. It was a green, lime green, and it was probably,
Where did that?
yeah. It was sitting on the couch area. A brown one.
Now Stacey Wondra is describing this green toy that they had for the dog there in the house. And if you guys remember, Sarah Wondra's mom in the probable cause affidavit said something about finding like a green stuffy ear in the backyard that she discarded of. So Sarah hands him, according to Stacey, this dog toy, this green dog toy. And it's mentioned in the probable cause affidavit that a piece or a chunk of it or whatever was out in the yard and Sarah's mom threw it away.
Yeah. I don't know if it was on that couch or if he was on the floor with her. But I know that I gave him screen for mom.
Where will we find his DNA?
I would definitely say that brown couch.
It's kind of brown gold.
Yeah, has the wooden legs.
I don't have to actually look at that, but I don't know.
Yeah. What else?
In my way, you're doing yeah. Okay. So, how do you feel just right now? Okay. And so, I'm going to go back over this again. So, it is what it is. The concept of insurance, as Detective Keller said, it's their responsibility to make sure that the law
What the details are going to be.
I have to make sure you're being truthful.
1,000%, because at this point, the goal here is if he's alive.
You're not as big as you used to be, so you should be all right.
That's how it was.
I'll switch.
They have given him chew, and now Chris Madonna is giving up his chair for Stacey. If this is not a forced confession, I don't care if there's fetal alcohol syndrome involved here or not. These detectives are doing everything they can to make Stacey Wondra feel comfortable in every way, shape, and form that they possibly can.
If he's alive, right? And obviously there's a lot of moving parts. You agree? Right? So we would have to figure out what Sarah did and who she traded to. And so that's why every piece of information we're providing is.
And Chris is also saying, so we're going to have to figure out what Sarah was doing and who she was going to trade Michael to. So every single piece of information provided is, the information that they need.
Critical to the next piece. If any of it is not a secret, sometimes that's okay and normal because it's a year later, right? But something of this magnitude, I know, as Anita said, we've been living this for a year and a half now. And you're going to tell you something not say anything. And hard, hold it in. And so let's go to some of the level. Tell us about the plan. So I found out that they had abducted Michael. When did you find out? How did they tell you? Did you see? They were all kind of like freaked out when they came in the door after they had locked her a little bit. Came in the door and something was off, and I didn't know what's going on. And they go, "Who's there?" Sarah and Adrian. And Brandon wasn't really. He didn't really say anything, because I think he was as much as like stuck in a rut as I was, with this whole thing. And you said they came in. Yeah, they come in and they were the look on their face told me something was wrong, and so that's when they go, well, we just abducted a little boy, and who's the Sarah. Sarah said. Yeah. Specifically. Yeah. And so I asked her, I was like, why the fuck did you do that? Typical reaction. Like, it's not, and I even told her, I said, but why would you even do such a thing? And they go, well, we need to be funny. And how are you feeling? Infuriated. Infuriated or period? Infuriated, yeah. Infuriated, and I got really irritated because it's like, why the fuck are you taking kids in this?
Oh, I believe 1,000% that that's exactly what Chris Madonna is doing. He is studying his body language in every single way, shape, and form. I just love knowing that Chris Madonna was in that room with Stacey, because he builds a really good relationship with Stacey, I feel like. Stacey Wondra wants to be treated good. I think he's used to being treated like shit constantly by Sarah. So when someone actually treats him good, he likes that person. And Chris Madonna builds that relationship so well with Stacey. He's so soft-spoken. I mean, I feel like that's one of the reasons why Chris Madonna can get anything he wants out of a suspect, is because he makes that person believe, I'm your friend. And that's what you got to do to get what you want.
So then, I even told her, I said, it's not something that we've ever seen doing. And her response was, well, I get it, and we're gonna find a way to make money on it. And so I asked them, well, they were like, well, what do you think we should do? And I said, I think we should report it to law enforcement. And they go, well, no, we can't do that now, it's already too late. And I go, what do you mean? And she goes, well, we already abducted the kid. I said, yeah, but that kid we returned to the family. And so I had, he asked what I thought they should do, and I told him, and he didn't like that. And so,
who did? You say they. How did you know they didn't like that?
Just there, because Adrian was in the room, it's just his demeanor said it.
What did he say?
He goes, oh, I don't, he goes, I'm not, cops on this. And so, at that point, he had, Sarah, and because I was infuriated at this point, I literally didn't like take a break and get out of the room. So I go into the bedroom, and at that point, I could hear the duct tape going around, and stretching, and hear this little boy, murmuring and whining and crying hysterically for his mom. And
let me start with this. You move to the spirit. From the moment they come through the door, where's
he's.
So Stacey Wondra is saying he was infuriated at this time. He was upset because he's finding out they just took a kid. It was Sarah and Adrian. They did all of this. And so he walks off and he goes into the room. And then while he's there in the room, trigger warning, he says, he hears Michael whimpering and crying, wanting his mom. And then all of a sudden he hears the sound of the duct tape. And I really believe that that's one of the reasons why they end up putting the duct tape on Michael, was because you guys know Michael's voice, very high pitched, just like Buggy's. And I think that if he was screaming and yelling and hollering and crying, I think it was very high pitched. I think it was very loud. And then he's also wanting his mommy. So I don't think that they were handling that situation well, because it was so loud and so high pitched. They were worried about neighbors hearing. And I think that's why the duct tape came into play, was to make Michael quiet. Sorry, you guys. I know this is difficult to hear. It really is. It's heartbreaking.
I think Sarah was holding him. Well, Sarah was holding him.
she had him?
Yeah.
And what was he doing?
He was, wiggling and trying to get out. And,
How was she holding him?
just like
I know this is
like you would perfectly.
What do you mean? So this is him?
Yeah.
How was she holding him?
So here's his butt, or here's his butt. With this, but she was like really down tight.
Okay.
And
As you see, what's going through your mind?
I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And she goes, I'm just abducted. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? Why would you do something like this? And she goes, well, you need to make some money. And so Adrian said he would contact one of his people that he knows. And that's why it's in Ontario. And he would get a hold of this person and see if he would buy the kid. And 99.9% sure that's where they involved.
So let's go back to she's holding him and explain the situation.
Like I
said, I was in the bedroom when I could hear the duct tape. How did you know from the
That's exactly right, Brandy. He's hearing Michael and all of this is going on, and he does absolutely nothing, which makes Stacey Wondra just as guilty as the three of them when he's not taking responsibility for anything. And that's exactly why Stacey Wondra is going to trial. Because he had involvement. He was there and he chose not to do a damn thing. He didn't call 911. He didn't walk out the door. Hell, he could have even texted 911, but he does absolutely nothing.
Literally, our bedroom's right here and the living room's right here. Did you say anything to them? I said, I can't do that. I can't hear this. I'm going to bed. This is bullshit.
So what was Michael wearing?
I think it was his blue shirt. I don't remember what was on the blue shirt, but I know it was a turquoise blue shirt.
And what about any other garments?
Let's see, like shorts on. Some sort of like athletic sort, you know. Honestly, they were darker than dog. I would, after going to the bedroom, I could hear the whole, you know, there was conversation with duct tape, you know, and that's when he started describing. Or it was more like a, you know, like a forceful conversation, really dumb, but it was like, oh, what are you gonna do? How production? It was like a really fast conversation. It wasn't, you know, something you really had to take the time on. And so they had, I remember hearing the duct tape stretch out. You know, that's the sound you make when you hear something, you just you're wrapping around. And that's the sound it was making. And I was still in the bedroom at that time, but that's when Sarah had said they're going to be back. And I'm pretty sure that they'd taken it voluntarily.
Brandy says here in the comments, I definitely believe that Stacey did more than he is saying. And with his explosive personality disorder, with Michael's high-pitched voice, I believe Stacey hit Michael. Oh my God. Brandy, I'm so sorry. I'm just so sorry that you're having to relive all of this and hearing all this shit.
So then you hear the duct tape. Where does the duffel bag come into play? How do you see the duffel bag when you're in the bedroom?
So far, Stacey's still saying he's in the bedroom. Now he's hearing duct tape. He gives the motion like, you know, duct tape going round and round and round. He can constantly hear the duct tape going. So he thought that that's what they were doing out there. And now he is asked to describe, like, Chris McDonough wants to know, like, when did the duffel bag start playing an issue in all of this? And Brandy says, well, unfortunately, now you get to hear what either runs through my head or parts of living with knowledge of this disgusting monsters for so long. I'm sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. Sometimes there just is not enough words. There just isn't enough words. You lost your baby. How does anybody make that feel better? We can't. All we can do is love you and be there for you. And we're always here for you, honey. Stay strong, Mama.
How do I see it? Or before I went to bed? Well, either one. The duffel bag was, so here's, we used to have an entertainment center here for a TV. There's an entertainment center. Can you draw that out? I think you should.
I can make those right.
See if they have like a chocolate milk. I don't know, I want a chocolate milk. Do you want a chocolate milk?
Get a water, yeah.
See if they have a chocolate milk, he would like one.
Well, I mean, also. So here's the living room, right?
Okay.
And you've got the kitchen area right here. Here's the front door. I would say probably right here. Okay, and then over in this area you've got here's the laundry room. Laundry room, and you've got the garage.
Mm-hmm.
You got,
just put like a L for laundry and G for garage. Okay.
So the way they come in with Michael, it was here's the garage and laundry room area. Here's the laundry room door. Here's the other the entrance to the house from the laundry room. This is the garage laundry room. And you come in. It was Adrian first, and then Sarah. Was in the last. Sarah was holding Michael. And then they were walking. I was sitting right here on the stairs. There's a green log. And then you got on this side, here's some windows. Yeah.
So if I'm hearing this correctly, so he's drawing out the house, and it sounds like through the garage there's a laundry room. So they came in through the garage, through the laundry room into the house. Is that what I'm hearing? Monkey's Army so strong. Thank you guys so much for supporting Brandy. Brandy says, I love you all very much and understand there's never enough words. I don't even know what to say. I adore and appreciate each and every one of you. Yeah, he said Adrian came in first, and then Sarah came in with Michael. So it sounds like they're in the... I'm going to just back up a little bit. That's what I'm going to have to do here, because that's what I'm hearing. They came in through the garage and then through the laundry room. So here he's talking about laundry. I can see that on the wording. Okay, so we'll just move forward from right here, because I want to hear this, because I think I missed this at the preliminary hearing.
I was saying probably right here. Okay, and then over in this area you've got here's the laundry room, laundry room, and you've got the garage.
Mm-hmm.
And you got,
just put like a L for laundry and G for garage. Okay.
So the way they come in with Michael, it was here's the garage and laundry room area. Here's the laundry room door. Here's the other the entrance to the house from the laundry room. This is the garage laundry room.
It says the entrance to the house through the laundry room. This is the garage door. So yes, it sounds like they came in through the garage and laundry room. Yeah, and some houses do have that laundry mud room as you come in through the garage. Brandy has that in her house when you come in her house, because I came in through the garage, through the laundry area, and into her kitchen. That's what I'm kind of picturing here.
It was Adrian first, and then Sarah, and then was in the last. Sarah was holding Michael. And then they were walking. I was sitting right here on the stairs. There's agree on, then you've got on this side, here's some windows. Front door, yeah, so. No, so this, here's the brown couch, right? This is one of the windows. And then you've got this side, this is where the brown couch is. Sorry. My drawing skills. What you on the side of the house, wherever the brown couch was right here by the windows. And then okay, so where was I?
You're explaining where everybody was at when they came
Yeah, so
in.
right in the second. Adrian was first, Sarah was second. And then they walk through, and I see slow light, and I go, what the fuck? So I asked them, what did they were doing? They said it was just abducting this little boy. And at that point, I said, what the fuck, are you serious? And they go, what are you doing that for? And they go, give me money. So at that point, here's they entertain us and say it's right here somewhere. Right? There's a couch right in this corner here. This is where his duffel bag was, but that's how it was. And his backpack was also there. He went to his backpack. The other duffel bag went to the same place. And I told him.
I don't know if they had room or not, but I do remember Chris Madonna questioning Stacey in the leakage footage from last year, and when he's having a conversation with Stacey, it sounds like there's a car in the garage at the time because Stacey Wondra wants Chris Madonna to open the trunk and look to see what's in it. Do you guys remember that? So I'm pretty sure there was room in the garage for a car. Because that's where Chris Madonna was in the garage when Stacey said something about the car, because then that's when Chris Madonna starts asking what car was driven and everything else. It was Sarah's car. It was the 4-door, whatever that was. The Lexus or the blue Toyota? Cavalier. Okay. Yeah, the sticker was mentioned. So a car and boxes in the garage? Yes. Because it was like enough room in the center, but stuff piled up on shelves and stuff and boxes on the sides. Toyota. I just remember, I don't know why. Why would Stacey even say something about look into the trunk of the car? I think I remember that part. Don't quote me. I've got to go back and watch it now just to see if I'm even correct.
At the time, I said I was going to go to the bedroom. This bedroom would be right here next to the laundry room, which is right here, right in the wall. Now I've gone from the living room, sitting on the oven. They told me when to shut the door lock. And all right. Choose my process. Fresh process. And so after he had come to the house, I go to the bedroom, I hear Amy and Sarah, freaking out, like, what are we gonna do? How do we get this? And AJ and saying, I think that they started like, okay, good idea.
So here he says he hears Adrian and Sarah, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We got to figure something out. Adrian saying like, okay, good idea. It's so low and so hard to hear.
And so after he had come to the house, I go to the bedroom, I hear Amy and Sarah, freaking out, like, what are we?
I hear Adrian and Sarah, freaking out, like, what are we going to do? How are we going to take care of this?
And AJ saying, I think that they started like, okay, good idea. And so Sarah had gotten the doctorate. And I believe she got it from, it was at the house, I think in the kitchen area in the door. And when they left, brought the duct tape, I think we threw it out the back of the truck.
Yes.
Guys, gonna start puking.
So after all this stuff was going down, I heard the duct tape, like I said, going around, like wrapping something. And you hear this little boy, saying, oh, just screaming fiercely along. And he's saying, shut up, be quiet, quit screaming. At the time that they're
Now he's describing hearing them yell at Michael to shut up and be quiet, quit screaming. And he says that Sarah walked off into the kitchen to grab the duct tape. He's assuming yes, they found Sarah Wondra's journals when they were with the Bibles or something. But it was also during that confession footage that was leaked last year because Stacey Wondra tells Chris McDonough, oh, those are her journals. So I'm sure they have Sarah's journals.
a lot of upset. Apparently okay with it. Like their emotions said everything was okay. That I'm not even worried about it. I'm like,
Ow.
So,
Did you need another one? Okay.
that's right. What do you recall happening? Your emotions, your opinion was felt that way.
they didn't seem freaked out like I was. Like they were in a worrisome, like their mood was worrisome, but their actions were like immediate, like it was very, they weren't like I was heated. And I didn't say anything and then report it because I was scared. Again, like I told you guys. But I know that he was, I know that at the time between votes had gone, they had taken, or Adrian and Sarah had taken, I want to say it was Michael, and went with the trade over in Ontario. Because the time frame that they were gone from the time that they bought the house. I mean, there's no way they can even keep it that 30 minutes.
And what did they say when they got
back? I asked them how or what they went to do, and they wouldn't tell me, but I also asked them, did you give them an order, and they wouldn't respond. So I seen Sarah throughout had, money. I mean, usually she tells me, she has money, how much did she have? Quite a few $100. Sometimes they probably give or take a number, maybe a couple thousand.
So for, you believe he may have had a couple of thousand?
Yeah.
Cash?
Yeah, because after all this played out, I mean, I noticed she was, I'm sure you guys know that she was good at things, gamble a lot.
Do you know the house they went to?
No. Not her? No, not the size. I would do that, probably, was the anti.
What was she wearing?
She had her, I believe she was wearing her red, leggings, yeah, or wearing her red leggings, or wearing burgundy red and black, and she was wearing her black boots. And she had, I would say it was a black shirt, wearing.
So the story of the shrimp, all of this with the sound, so garbage.
I had a shirt that night. Yes, I did.
But what
But as far as I'm offering it,
yes, when you, so any other stuff that wasn't true that you shared at the beginning of this, that now you are thinking through and looking at this in the same way?
Yeah, the whole, not saying that it's interested in what it's on. Not doing it because.
How does the tricycle play into this? Or was it just in the garage?
It was just in the garage. I mean, that's where everything is sitting on top of the boxes.
And who would have gotten rid of that? Because we found it.
Yeah, so, I would say Adrian, I don't know who for sure, but I would say Adrian thinks it's quick with his mothers and
Why would you start that?
to give him evidence.
So do you think Michael was on the tricycle? Or
I would say yes.
do you know?
No, not for sure.
Okay. Could the tricycle have originated before that?
No, because I'm pretty, I mean, I keep all my tools and machine gear and stuff in the garage, so I'm very keen on possessions, I have a $300 fishing pole, which I know we've got, probably a few $1,000 in tools, in it. But I'm pretty, I pay attention to stuff, it's around the garage and that.
You were very detailed. This is one, you have a very good memory, but you've also told so many fabrications in your lifetime.
It's like more incredible.
You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like,
Stacey Wondra is telling him, like, I'm very keen. I, pay attention to everything. And then Chris Madonna jumps right on in with, well, yeah, you've got a great memory. You pay attention. But during this time, you know, you haven't been honest with us. You, not in Chris Madonna's words, but in words, basically is saying, like, and here you are telling us you can't remember and you're lying to us and whatnot.
This is like the big one. I mean, have you ever been involved in anything like this in your life? Never. And you're right, your background doesn't reflect this. Okay, your background does reflect that you're honest.
I'm not chatting tickets, but.
You know, I mean, if it's hard, I just can't. Oh, yeah, I gotta get you.
I was gonna say, why don't we take a small break for a minute and get up and stretch our legs and stuff like that? Because it is hot in here.
It's smoking hot. You guys, is there any,
I got some, makeup for right up to be in that chocolate milk cake, okay?
okay. Is there any, I hate asking it, I don't know if there's any way, but I'm hungry, is there any restaurants that are open? Is Subway right now open?
I don't know if there's any way, but, you know, I'm hungry. Is there any restaurants that are open right now? Wanting them to go to a restaurant, wanting them to go somewhere, since Juanita Kelleher says, let's take a break. And he immediately wants food and asking if there's restaurants open, because that's how special they're making him feel. That's how comfortable they're making him feel, that he is comfortable asking for food, for more food.
I don't think anything's open right now. But
Wondra.
10:30.
Got siren in there? No, that tells the jail staff to go make a check on it in there. I didn't know whether I had that.
Feels good to be able to get this off my chest.
Good.
Almost there.
Check this out. I don't know if there's somewhere cool for him to go for a little bit. You do that too if there's somewhere for him to go.
I watch him take a walk around. Watch him get out and walk around.
I don't want to go back there.
You supposed to stay right here?
Yeah, we're going to like sit up here.
That's cool. You drive us out and you want to try to cruise.
Yeah. Are you taking me? Hey, Chris, can you get a second? Can I talk to you? Yeah. I needed a break. I feel a lot better now. Bathroom break. Yeah. Yeah. I gotta take mine off too. Yeah.
So Stacey with
Mine's right here. So I got mine.
So one of the things that we want to be very careful about from this whole scenario, this whole situation. What you make of it, the idea, we don't want you to say something that is not true in any decisions. And we don't want you thinking you have to say something that is not truthful just to fill in the blanks. Do you understand that, President? Yeah. Tell me why. Why do you understand that?
Well, it's a serious case.
What else?
Telling half the truth is not.
I mean, we don't want you saying something, okay, or giving information that you think that you've made the comment a couple times, that's what you want us to do. We don't. Okay. What we want, what we're interested in is what really happened, not what you think happened, okay, or going down that way because it makes sense. And we don't want you just making stuff up. So is there anything that you want to change that you may have shared with us? Because a couple of concerns that we have, right? Number one is we talked to you about the bicycle and now the tricycles being part of your story. Okay? So where did that come from? From us or from you?
That's from you.
And how do we know that?
It's your, you guys are executives, so, I mean, I've come this far, why,
Okay.
I don't have a reason. I want this little boy.
Okay. Now, I believe you when you say that. I think we all believe it when you say that. I mean, and so when you're at home, are your time frames correct that when you're there, anything you need to change in help us understand a little bit more?
No, I mean, the time frames that I provided you guys are well in the realms of things right now.
Okay. Do you, how about around what time do you think Michael was? What time do you think?
I'd say it was around 6. It was 6. It was 6:45 hour. I don't have that exact time, but I would say it definitely happened that hour.
Okay. And were you at home?
It was around 6. It was 6. It was 6:45 hour. I don't have that exact time, but I would say it definitely happened that hour.
Okay. And were you at home? So the earlier story that you weren't, you were actually at the house.
I had gone out to do the tax return, but when I got home, I was home.
You come back.
Yeah.
Okay. What car did you use to do the tax return?
Lexus.
That
was my car.
And Sarah likes to drive the Corolla. Could the Lexus have been the vehicle used, or you?
It could have been vehicle used.
And why do you say that? Is it because I asked you that?
No, it's very highly possible that the Lexus could have been used.
Okay, and tell me why.
I mean, Sarah wasn't always concurrent on or concrete on which vehicles she would take. And she had to keep up, all three of her vehicles. So it was, I mean, Alexis, there was only one key, but the truck, we had 2 keys in her car. Her dad has one, she has one.
The story about the key, is that true? The way it goes?
Yeah, that was that. I remember I did precisely what we were doing now.
And so the Lexus could have been used.
Correct.
Did she tell you that she was? So you're not positive?
No.
That's,
So I know one of the vehicles were used.
the truck was used, sure.
Yes.
And Michael was in the duffel bag?
Yes.
Is he in the back seat or in the back of the truck? He's in the very back. Why didn't you guys put him in the front? What else was in the back of the truck?
We had a ladder rack, we had a strap and chain.
Was there a shovel?
Yeah, I think there was.
So
I think the shovel was, it was weird to me why it was in the back. Because we don't usually just transfer the shovel around, It was kind of on.
So when Sarah comes through the door with Michael, she's holding him.
But like holding him tight to get him to stop.
Yes, he does. Other than what you shared with us so far, describe that. She's
Just coming through the door with her, or she is coming through the door. She's very, holding like tight, telling me to start to quiet, and what's going on. And because we just abducted each other, and I go, why the fuck?
It was me. I was muted. Sorry, everybody. I was just saying, because Stacey Wondra is sitting here talking about having a shovel on the back of the truck. Why do you have a shovel in the truck? Unless you plan on unaliving Michael, or was he already unalive when they left the house? You're taking a shovel with you in the truck. And I'm just trying to make sense of that.
Was to do that, and she doesn't want to be in the plane. And at that point, I was just so infuriated. I'm like, are you fucking serious right now? That's when I was like, I'm not, so let me go back.
and you talked about a toy. Did you write that out?
No, it was a toy that we had in the house.
A toy you had?
No, a toy that we had in the house.
You gave that to him?
I didn't give it to him.
Who did?
I think Sarah gave it to me here in the trench road.
Okay, so quiet it down. What else was he wearing? Did he have a shirt? After they duct taped you, how did they do it? They were where? So, how do you know that?
Just that there was so much stuff in the user. I didn't see it physically, but it only makes sense.
There's no way for us to know whether or not Michael was okay when they pulled over on 8th in Arizona because we're depending on the words of Stacey Wondra. I'm just wondering why they brought a shovel. They obviously had other intentions at this point, I think. If Michael was alive, they were already thinking about hurting him, and that's why you take the shovel. Or you're taking the shovel because he was already unalive before leaving the house.
What did you see?
He had done
Where was it?
on his hands and it says,
So you did see it? Or you didn't?
I didn't see like the whole. I just know that the duct tape had been used, and when I saw the duct tape was on his mouth. That's what I did in his hands. That's what I did.
And what did you see in the duffel bag?
I didn't see him verbatim in the duct tape. Said it was offset, when he got closed. But I know that it was in there.
So pretty specific about layers, clothing.
Yeah, the was being on the bottom of the duct tape.
How did you see that?
Just from I can tell if something's offset. Like he can tell if there's something more. Then there is on top. So it wasn't hard to pinpoint the fact that it was in the middle of the double line. It wasn't on the bottom of the top.
And here's every time get yourself out. I think he needs to give a mouth and
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. That's a lot of stress and we've been building for a long time. Okay. You got some more water. It's all right. Breathe through, okay? You're doing fine. It's all right. See how this has affected you? It's just gone all the way through your life. Go ahead and just put that whole thing in the trash. Yeah, don't worry about that. And then just wash your mouth out and spit in and make you feel a little better. If you guys got a towel, that would be better. Thank you. All right.
Stacey, are you on any medication tonight? What are you on? If you do, I need to watch me. Can I get a disinfectant?
I think he's gonna bring you a towel here in a minute. It's all right. It's all right. Sometimes a nice and clean towel makes a huge difference. They probably burn a little bit, probably have a little alcohol in it. Yeah. Yeah, that'll help out. You gurgle some water, sometimes that helps too.
Scott Crimmin, first one, man, he is just up and gone. He's like, nope, ain't staying in here for that. Then Chris Madonna, and here is Juanita Keller, like Callie's saying, like the biggest badass ever, just sitting in there with him while he pukes. She don't give a shit. She's just in there. She's gonna do whatever it is she's got to do, and she wants to be in there to comfort him, to show him she is her friend. I'm going to sit with you and tell you everything's going to be okay, even while you're puking. They both felt God, and
you didn't try to do that. It's all right. Yeah. Sometimes things that we hold in deep, they affect us physically. It's a big release. Some bread or some maybe toast, sometimes that helps. I just got over being pregnant, so I went through all the throwing up stuff. A year ago. Thank you. Man, I don't envy you. I hate throwing up. Oh, it sucked so bad. And heartburn like you wouldn't believe.
It's so fucking bad. That's what happens.
Yeah.
That was probably next year.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know if it's the heartburn that makes me throw up or the throw up then it makes the heartburn. I don't know. It just doesn't help. He's been grabbing something to eat. And so.
You might not really go today.
I think so. It's just part of being human. Just gotta soak up that stomach acid and keep it down. You want to give him walk around, we can do that too. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna get him walk for a second. Tell me something. That might be better, yeah. Help him calm down a little bit. Well, why don't we have him write it down and then we'll see how he feels. Go from there. Are you good? Feel better?
I'm worried about your health.
He said he's been pretty nervous. This has been weighing on him, so.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal.
Did we get the medication? Well, why don't we go in and start with, I think the written.
Yeah, but give him a piece of paper and a pen, right? We'll just let him write it out. Here's one right here. Stace, we're gonna have to write it out at the arguments to calm down.
Yeah.
Just kinda, let me get you a piece of paper and a pen.
There's a table. Well, there's a table right there with all this stuff on it, so. And start where you believe that the story began. If there's something in the beginning that started all of this, start right there. Just be as detailed as possible. Are you all done already? Oh. What's that? You can't write? Okay. Feeling okay? You get a flu or something, or what's that? What's it caused from? Stress. Come on, you taking any medications or anything like that? What's Prilosec for? Oh. That'd been nice if they would told me that. Maybe you can't take it right now. Right? So. Okay. Look, this isn't something that we have to do tonight. If you want, I can come back tomorrow. You can rest, or we can continue tonight. It's up to you. I don't know what you would feel better with. But I know we'll have him bring in some more food while we continue then. So. At this time of night, when I came through town, it was dark. Like there was nothing open. And that was like at 8 o'clock. This is 11 o'clock. Yeah, there was like nothing. We can ask the guys if maybe there's a PB&J or something. Something like that. I don't think they have like fast food there.
He wants to eat fast food. He's hungry again. He wants to eat. She's telling him everything. He's like, fast food. And He just got done puking. Now he wants food. I don't know about anybody else, but if I get sick like that, I am not going to put anything else into my stomach. Only a few more minutes here, it looks like. We're at like a minute and 14, or an hour and 14 minutes, and we've got probably 10 minutes left, you guys. So we've made it through this entire thing. Thank God. I don't know. Let me see. I don't even know if he continues to talk, or if this is just, we'll see. Let's get through this last little bit.
Do they have any type of frozen burritos or anything here? Do you guys have any like frozen burritos or any type of food here?
Yeah.
Where PB&J work?
That's, you know, you're losing weight. That's also,
Yeah.
right? Your body's going on. That's the way they're doing.
Thank you.
Right. We can leave the door open.
Yeah. So I asked Stacey if he was okay with, you know, if he wanted me to come back tomorrow, we can do that. And he said that he'd prefer to go tonight if we're available. He stopped writing. He said he just really can't. He just rather walk, which is right. And so I was bugging him about why he's sick. And so he said just nerves.
Stress relief. Instead of stuff that in the whole it just gets pretty.
Yeah. It's hard. It's very difficult. And that's why we want to be very careful that, you know, we're looking out for your, you know, your best interest as well as Michael's. It's a combination. You know, I mean, we have to find out, and we don't ever want to put you in a compromising situation when we have somebody say, oh, we just made it over self because of the ABC, right? Because the information that you provide, and it's accurate, okay, could lead to
Chris Madonna just said there, right there, we don't want to put ourselves into a position where, you know, later on it's said that we've made all this up or you've made all this up. That's why they want him to write down everything that he told them.
recovery, Michael. And if that's the case, well, you know, that's going to reflect really well on you. Right? Keep your bridge.
A little bit of something for now. Chocolate cake. I think like 30 dashes cake every day.
Oh, wow.
So, are you tracking it on that? Okay, so that's why I think at this juncture, with the fact that I want to prove myself that it's kind of like, you know, we just want to make sure like 1,000% not 10, 20, 50,000%, because on obviously the next thing, you know, the investigation has to go on is my house, where could it be, and where did it go from there? So your help in any of that is critical.
Well, I know that Sarah probably talked to you a lot because she has invited you. So I know that where she picked Michael up at is probably something that really weighed on her. And so I'm sure she's pointed it out to you or told you or gave you some type of information about where exactly he was picked up at.
Off Main Street.
You know, where? That's a big street.
Because everyone was towards, from what she described, it was towards the end of 9th. Like if you get on 9th from, like when you're pulling in
on his street, which is on the splash pad. You know, you can get to, or I think it's there, you can get to 9th. Then you go down further where we were parked the truck, there's a street there. It was on the street side.
The street side?
Of the end of the street. It was up closer to the one by our house. So it's
Okay.
not the cross, not the movie to push me right, but right towards the end of it.
Where, let me brought up. What did she say Michael was doing?
It was just playing. She didn't really say anything specific. It was just playing outside.
Was she worried about anybody seeing her?
She didn't say anything, but I would automatically assume that the first thing you think, you know, and the scene something, you know. But she didn't say anything specific, but I could tell that she was worried. She's her emotion.
Did she talk about any vehicles around or anybody around that could have saw her? Or that maybe she was concerned that maybe saw her?
Not specifically, no.
Nobody passing or anything?
Nobody passing, just the vehicles in the area. She didn't say she saw it, but I mean, you know, it's a neighborhood watching, everybody's gonna see something. So I know she was worried about. Worried about, you know, turn on and see she's worried about, you know, someone seeing.
Next couple of days and stuff, and of course the next week, how did she act?
I see what she wanted on the record, my God.
So this being north, okay, right here.
Okay.
This is Southwest 8.
Okay.
This is Arizona and Washington. And this is
Okay.
So the splash pad's down here.
So that's towards the end of, like, going on 95. This is closer to.
Yeah, so this is 95.
So it would have been right around this area where she would.
near the corner of Arizona and 9.
Not corner, but more like, I don't know how long the road is, but it was probably somewhere halfway between the middle and towards, closer to the end.
So this area.
Yeah. Did she take you by her? She was worried that.
I'm sitting here and I'm wondering to myself, right now he's getting asked a question from Chris Madonna and then he immediately goes to take a bite. I am wondering, yes, we know that Stacey Wondra likes food, but is he using this as a tactic to give himself more time to come up with answers to questions? Because this is the second time he went to go get a bite as a question was being asked. Is that why he keeps wanting food in there? It gives him a reason, because he takes the bite and then he's got to chew it. He's not answering his questions while he has a mouth full of food. It's like it's given him time to think or something. I don't know. Just kind of speculating a little bit.
So, like your phones and stuff, what happened with those?
What do you mean, like blind at its home or blind?
Yeah, they changed at that time, so what was going on?
Well, when we had gone to a lot of companies, actually we're aware of, but I think we were, I think Sarah wanted to
Your Honor, before I start the next one, it is 12 o'clock. And does the court have?
Dorothy saw Michael the day he disappeared. So the day he was abducted is when she saw Michael. And she reported it on the 29th. So she saw him the day that he was abducted, riding a tricycle on Red Wing and Meadowlark. And then you have Stacey Wondra here saying that he was taken. I'm not understanding taken by a car, taken by tricycle, because he says car at one point. He also said that Michael was lured by the tricycle. But we know a witness saw Michael on a tricycle at Red Wing and Meadowlark. And we know that that's where Banshee hit. And we also know that Banshee hit on the man gate where the tricycle was behind the gate, the garage where Stacey is saying he was brought into. And we know Banshee tracked down the tricycle down the bluff. So, I mean, it seems to me that Michael was at some point on the tricycle, but piecing it all together. Brandi's saying, I agree, Sam, using it as another form of attention and deflection. Yes. Like food for the attention, like, oh my God, I'm hungry, playing like the victim of being hungry, and also using it as a way to distract himself and think about things, because Stacey's a lot smarter than he wants everybody to believe, even though he says his IQ. I mean, even the district attorney kind of gave him a pat on the back when he talked about how well planned this all was until, you know. And then I think this thing is over because it says that
Preference for whether we keep going or take a break for lunch?
Well, of course, I have no sense of when this particular exhibit.
We've still got.
So it was somewhere
a lot of time
in the middle here. It was right after they were talking about them screaming at Michael when Brandi and Tyler got up and left. So Brandi has not watched the last half of this particular video here because she didn't come back. They didn't come back until after lunch. We'll finish playing out the rest.
What is this? Is that 30 minutes? Is that 3 hours?
That is, I believe, 2 hours and some change.
On this segment?
Just this video.
Well, it makes sense, I think, unless for some reason, not to take a break right now. We might as well take a break right now. It's noon. Given our conversation and the hours of videos that are going to be played, I want to give everybody enough time for lunch, but I want to also simultaneously hurry back. So is it reasonable if I require everyone to come back at 1 o'clock? Does that work for the defense?
Good.
Does that work for the state? It does. So it's kind of a slightly short lunch, not really, it's almost an hour. But we'll resume at 1. Let's try to be ready to go at 1 o'clock. I'm eating my lunch here, so if anyone needs to talk to me, if you come back from lunch and need to chat, go ahead and just come in my office and we need to figure anything out.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we'll be in recess.
Well, we made it through that one, and the sound was a lot better. Hopefully the streaming and everything gets better with all of that. Kelly says it's as if Stacey took every opportunity to use them while he had their attention, which he seemed to really like. Yeah. Because I think that, he is a little bit lonely in there. I mean, who doesn't get lonely in prison, right? And besides barely getting out, he's been in prison for quite a while on those pew-pew charges. So I do think that, he enjoyed having the conversation, talking, plus looking at Juanita. She's a beautiful woman, so being around her. Hell, he probably got even super embarrassed puking in front of her. But just using the entire situation, as a way to, in his mind, have a little bit of fun, have a little bit of conversation. He does say that he had like some stomach acid or heartburn or whatever, and that's what caused him to puke. And then talks about being stressed. He also talks about Adrian and Sarah coming in through the laundry room area into the house. And I noticed right then, he didn't say anything about Brandon. And the last time he talked about them coming into the house, he said all three of them came into the house all at once, and he wasn't sure whether Brandon had helped them or not. But this whole Brandon thing is really starting to make me wonder a few things, because he really doesn't want to talk crap about Brandon Shirtliff. And that's either because he is scared of Brandon, or Brandon knows things that he doesn't want Brandon to start talking about. And now I'm starting to wonder if that's why Brandon doesn't really talk about Stacey. Like, neither of them really throw each other under the bus, do they? I've only heard Brandon do it with Stacey one other time. Thank you guys all so much for being here. My crock pot's going. I haven't ate in a long time. I went live at 4 o'clock today, and I have been nonstop. So I appreciate everybody coming in, but I am going to have to get off of here and eat so my blood sugars don't get low. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and it's also spring break, so I am spending the day with my grandkids tomorrow. I will be back live Thursday or Friday. I'm not sure yet, because I'm not sure what kind of stuff we have planned with the grandbabies, because I've got, 6 grandbabies, and they're all on spring break right now. And I've got to divide my attention up, and I'm supposed to be doing something with my son and my oldest granddaughter, and then I'm supposed to go hang out with my littles too. So thank you, Ray Ray, so much. Great job, Sam. Get some food and rest. Thank you guys so much for being here. Outdoorsy Life. Thank you, Callie. Mama B, Rach, everybody. Thank you guys all so much for coming in. Sarah, thank you so much for being here. Using programs like Handbrake and Adobe Media. Yes, I am using Handbrake right now to download everything, but for whatever reason, it will not download this 118 gigabyte, 2-hour and 50-minute video. It has helped me download everything else. And because when you plug in this hard drive into the computer, it just shows the audio. And that's all there is. And then I've been using Handbrake to turn the audio into video, to downsize it, to be able to upload it on YouTube. But for whatever reason, Handbrake does not want to download that. It has been a few days, though, since I tried doing it again. Maybe I'll try doing it again. It's not because my computer has ran out of room. I've got plenty of room. It's a brand new computer. I haven't even used a quarter of the amount of room on my computer yet. So I'm having a difficult time figuring out what the heck's the problem. Thank you, Sammy, for everything. I love you, Mama. I hope you're having a good day, hun. Brandy also says, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. It's so appreciated. These monsters are going down. We're never going to give up. Kelly is going back and listening to something. I'm going back to listen to Stacey and Chris Medina's phone call about his missing fishing pools. His missing fishing poles ended up in storage, or Sarah ended up selling them, as far as I know. Yeah, he wanted to know about his fishing poles, and they weren't there. And I'm not shocked that the fishing poles weren't there, because Stacey had been in prison for a minute by the time, months and months before. And Sarah Wondra started getting rid of stuff. We knew all the way back when Michael first disappeared, they're talking about getting rid of furniture and everything else. So Sarah was on a roll of getting rid of stuff, that's for sure. And then a lot of her stuff ends up in storage that her mom and dad are still paying for. I have had this very hoarse throat irritation this whole life. I'm sorry, you guys, for all the coughing. Again, I just want to thank you guys for being here. It does mean a lot. Thank you, Purple, for being here, hun. I'll get it figured out no matter what I got to do, guys. I will make sure we listen to it at least. So, sorry, I was reading something. Apps like Handbrake depend on stable internet connection, meaning if you can hand wire the internet connection, you'll get the best results. I'll try to help any way I can. Yes, connecting it directly to the internet box is the best and fastest way. It wants nothing to do with, it wants nothing to do. I can click on every file but that one and it wants to download it. It's all just that great big one. I even looked up and found out that Handbrake can handle lots and lots and lots of files, way bigger than 118 gigabytes. I do not know why it doesn't want to download this particular file. I tried straight up loading it into YouTube and it's telling me that the video is still processing. So I'm hoping the processing will just eventually whatever, but I have a feeling it didn't work, but I will figure it out. Like I said, I don't care if I got a screen record. I've had to do that with so many things to be able to listen and hear it. So we'll figure it out. And thank you so much for all the help. I really appreciate it. I might have to get my son's hubby over here to help me figure it out. He's a computer whiz. All right, you guys, have a great night.